Most folks are familiar with the role of disease in the conquest or wiping out of the Native Americans. Some 95% of the population of Native folks in the Americas gone within of 2 or 3 generations of Columbus landing in the Bahamas in 1492. And of course, among the most famous of those stories of conquest are the stories of the conquest of Mexico and Peru. Hernan Cortez, arriving off the coast of Mexico in 1520, established the port city of Veracruz and then marched with his handful of guys across the country to the capital of the Aztecs at Tenochtitlan, this island capital city. Some have said that Tenochtitlan in its glory was like Rome, a beautiful city and its organization, its societal structure. Cortez managed to get some allies along the way. They decided to join him instead of fight him, and with their help, he came to the great city and managed to convince the king, Moctezuma II, that it would be a better idea for him to welcome him into the city rather than resist him. And so Cortez peacefully entered the city. He was able pretty quickly to fool Moctezuma into allowing him to have a very big say in how the empire was run, and then tricked him and murdered him. The Aztecs, in the meantime, had figured out that these invaders were up to no good, that they weren't really gods or they weren't great beasts with 4 legs on they're on their horseback. And so they attacked them and ran them out of town. But as they ran them out of town, a relief expedition had been sent from Hispaniola to help Cortez out. These guys brought with them smallpox. And as soon as the relief outfit met up with Cortez and his guys outside the cities, the Indians are dropping dead like flies. And within a matter of just a few weeks, Cortez and his army of less than 500 guys have conquered the entire Aztec nation, probably about 1 million people under his boot, thanks to the arrival of smallpox at just the right moment, like the cavalry in an old-fashioned Western. So smallpox really was what brought down the great Aztec Empire. Now, his colleague, Francisco Pizarro, who got a license from the Queen of Spain to conquer Peru, had a little tougher time. It took him a little longer down there in the highlands of Peru as he marched in. It took him several years to trick and cajole and fool the Inca into the same sort of game that Cortez had played with the Mexicans. But in this particular case, smallpox had arrived in Peru well ahead of him. In fact, 2 years before Pizarro began his conquest of Peru, the great king of the Inca, who had reigned there for 40 years, had died of smallpox, igniting a civil war between his 2 sons, and of course the population decimated by disease and racked by civil war. Easy pickings for Pizarro and his men when they finally got around to putting their shoe on the neck of the Inca. So what happened in Mexico, what happened in Peru became kind of models for what happened just about every place else. May not have been as dramatic, but as these microbes spread across the populations of the entire Western Hemisphere, it didn't take very long before the native peoples were in no position to resist at all because they were being ravaged by disease. Measles, in fact, came right in behind smallpox, kind of the second half of the 1-2 punch.